Good morning. This is RCB News, and I am Ryan Bowler. I want to get right down to the news at hand. Some of you are already aware of this. There was a MMA fight between a biological male with transgender and a biological female in the MMA, and the biological male slash transgender, whatever you want to call him, beat the biological female. I can't remember the name of the individual man slash female, but obviously, clearly, he beat this woman. And some of you may have already seen the fight. Like I said, some of you have already seen the fight. I didn't see it. I'm not. Don't even ask me to watch it. What for? What? Why would I want to watch that? To see? I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing to prove. You know what I mean? That's what I'm gonna watch it for. Just so I can make a comment on it. I don't need to watch it to make a comment on it. It's stupid. As far as I'm concerned, I can't stomach it. Let's put it to you like that. I can't stomach that. So for me, the point of this video is not to, try to justify it or any of that. As I said in my previous videos, look, you as a consenting adult, you can do whatever you want to do in the privacy of your own home. Look, I don't have a problem with that. That's your life, whatever. But my thing is this, is why, once again, is this being pushed on the general public? Why is this sickness, this delusion being pushed on the public? And I'm going to submit to you, like I said before, I personally believe that the liberal progressives and the Democrats and the socialists and the communist insurgents are trying to confuse the masses of people, trying to destroy their moral compass in order to brainwash them into accepting some agenda that they have laid up somewhere. I believe that they have an agenda, and I'm not going to name that agenda on YouTube right now, but I believe there's a bigger picture. I don't believe for once that the people that are pushing transgenderism and trying to push this idea that a biological male can compete in a female sport and win, and it's okay. It's okay. Well, he identifies as a female, so it's okay. I don't believe that the proponents that push this idea really believe that. I believe that what they're doing is they're trying to confuse you and I. They're trying to confuse the masses. Because, let's be real, everybody in their right mind knows this is crazy. Everybody knows that. The people that are pushing it know it. The people that are believing it know it. But here's the thing. It's all about mind control. It's all about fulfilling a bigger agenda. And Adolf Hitler said this, if you keep, and I'm paraphrasing his words, if you keep repeating a lie over and over and over again, eventually the people will believe it. That's Adolf Hitler's quote. Not making it up. He said that. And he's telling the truth. You keep telling a lie over and over and over again, what's going to happen? The people are going to begin to eventually believe it. And anybody that embraces this idea of transgenderism, where a man can literally, who's biological male, regardless of whether or not he identifies as a female or not, and compete in the female-driven sport and win, and you believe that, you've been brainwashed. You've been brainwashed. You've been deceived. I'm just here to tell you, your eyes need to be open. So the purpose of this video is, the secondary purpose rather of this video is to bring out the reality that this whole idea of transgenderism has been going on for quite some time. I'm pretty sure most of you already know that. And I just want to read from a book I purchased several years ago by Mark Dice entitled Liberalism, Find a Cure. And in this book, there's a section, a chapter entitled Transgenderism, and then there's a subsection entitled Sports. And clearly this is a reference to transgender men who identify as women who are competing in women's sports and either severely hurting these women or obviously clearly winning just about every competition. It's clear from anybody that the male has a biological advantage over the female. I shouldn't have to explain to anybody, well, a man can't have a baby, a man can't get pregnant, A woman can't do the same physical things that a man can do on a natural basis. Why explain that? Why explain it? See, the issue is we're being manipulated. We're being manipulated, man. We're being manipulated by socialists. We're being manipulated by communist insurgents. We're being manipulated by people who pose as Democrats but are actually communists. We're being, and I shared this in a previous video about how these communist insurgents, one of the goals of the communist insurgents is to push pornography and homosexuality and sexual degeneracy as normal. So what do we see going on now? This whole idea that transgenderism is normal. It's normal. Really? So let me read some of this. Somebody read some of these quotes here. And on page 238 of this book. And Mark Dye says, a transgender weightlifter in New Zealand won a series of competitions, and despite looking like a man, having the muscle structure of a large man, and weighing over 200 pounds, she has been allowed to compete as a woman because that's how she identifies. She even set several new international records for the women's women's competition. Now, let me say this real quick before I comment on this. Some of you may wonder why. That's why I read out of the books, certain excerpts out of the books. The main reason for that is so that I don't misquote the words of this person. I can copy it down, easily put it on a sheet of paper. But why not I just prefer to read it right out of the book. That way you have the exact words of the person. So I'm not misquoting their words. I'm not misquoting names. I'm not misquoting dates and documentation. So that's why I read it out of the book, in case anyone was wondering. Now, obviously, clearly, this is in New Zealand. But let me explain. Let me read some more here. A transgender MMA fighter named Fallon Fox, so some of you are already familiar with this person, was born male but identifies as a woman and fought other women in mixed martial arts competitions. Once fracturing the eye socket of, quote, her opponent and giving her a concussion during a 2014 fight. In the post-fight interview, Fox's opponent said, quote, I fought a lot of women and have never felt the strength that I felt in a fight as I did that fight. I can't answer whether it's because he, quote, in italics, was born a man or not, because I'm not a doctor. I can only say I've never felt so overpowered ever in my life, and I am an abnormally strong female in my own right, end quote. Really? Notice what she said. Notice what this woman said. Get this now. She says, I never felt the strength that I felt in a fight as I did that fight. Don't you think the reason why you have never felt the strength that you felt like that because that's a biological male? In my opinion, I think that she was just covering up from the reality of the fact this is a biological male, and she didn't want to come right out and say that because he would have been ridiculed and mocked by the liberals, the liberal left. They would have mocked her, oh, you are transphobe, or you are this, or you are that, calling all kinds of names, this, that, and the other. So she didn't simply come on, what do you need a doctor for to identify this? You don't need a doctor. All they take is common sense. Anyone that got a brain to think and eyes to see clearly can see that he's a biological male. He's biologically, naturally stronger than she is. So therefore, he's going to overcome her. It's simple. Mark Dice goes on to say, light heavyweight kickboxing champion Andrew Tate joked about identifying as a woman for a while in order to become the best female kickboxer in his weight class, just to illustrate how absurd it is to allow biological males to fight in the women's division. Now listen to this. Mark Dice says this. He was denounced as a transphobe for bringing up the issue. Something that's clearly obvious, he's denounced as a transphobe. Goes on to say, Mark Dice goes on to say, a biological male won the women's division in El Tour El Tour de Cunson, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, cycling race in November of 2016. A transgender high schooler in Alaska runs track on the girls' team despite being a biological male. A 6-foot-tall transgender woman plays on a women's semi-pro football team in Minnesota. At first, the league turned her down for obvious reasons, and due to safety concerns about letting men play against women in the league, she then sued for discrimination to force the league to let her play. And one more. A 6'8" tall male joined the women's basketball team at a junior college in Santa Clara, California in 2012. See how long this has been going on? After a judge awarded her with a new birth certificate indicating he was a female. A 24-year-old male joined the UC Santa Cruz women's volleyball team in 2016, an NCAA Division III level team. And there are many, many more instances which raise serious concerns about fair competition. Now, I'm not going to go any further than that, but simply say this. To me, this is not up for debate. I mean, I could debate about what I believe to be, in my opinion. Clearly, men have a physical advantage over women. Women have a physical advantage over men. Men cannot have babies. That's impossible. I don't care what scientists say. I don't care. They can't. But once again, there's this idea of manipulation, mind control, brainwashing, repeating a lie over and over and over and over again in order to convince the masses of people to accept this, whatever agenda they're trying to push, whatever bigger picture that they're trying to push. So I just wanted to say that on that, this has to stop. Eventually this has to stop, and we have to continue to expose what's going on. Look, if you guys have any comments, please put your comments in and make your comments. I mean, am I transphobe or what? Do you agree or do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, press the like button, share this video, and subscribe to this video. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again on RCB News. Have a blessed day.